Alright, what's good to my YouTube family? I'm Alex Agrella and my company is Recruiting Board or recruitingboard.net, where we are the home of smaller college football recruiting. So guys, today is going to be a little bit of a different format. I typically talk about football recruiting stuff or have games on my channel or what have you, but man, my time locked up here in quarantine, it just got me thinking that I really just want to state my opinion on what's going on in the football world right now. And guys, I don't really have a script or anything. I just want to really speak off the dome. I do have this awesome new camera here. Well, you can't see it, and I have yet to use it. I bought it back in like November, so I just want to speak to you guys and, hopefully take your minds off what's going on right now in society. As always, stay at home, stay healthy, stay quarantined. Feel free to get lost in the YouTube world. Do some push-ups, do sit-ups. Man, I ran on the treadmill today in my basement. Do whatever you gotta do, but please just stay at home. That is the most important thing that we can do right now as a society, and for just the next person that you see is just by staying at home. So, with all this said, let's jump right into it. So today, guys, I want to address. Well, let's backtrack for a second. So, if you already don't, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here. It really will help me just to tell that you're digging the vids, to tell you want more vids, and that will also help if you just drop a thumbs up on this video. I don't get paid from these videos. I'm just out here trying to create content for the internet, again, just to take your minds off what is going on. So guys, if you can do me a huge favor, drop a thumbs up on it, hit subscribe, and man, leave in the comments if you disagree with something, leave in the comments if you agree with something, leave in the comments if you want me to talk about something later. Whatever you want to put, just make it appropriate. But okay guys, let's jump into the video. So, if you don't know, I am a huge New England Patriots fan. I'm actually from New Hampshire, so growing up, I'm 26, and Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl when I was in first grade. I was like 7 years old, and he's won 6 since then. I am a huge Tom Brady fan. Like, he is an icon, not only in New England, but in all of sports, really. When he announced that he was leaving the Patriots, it literally was like a piece of my soul, my childhood, my teenagehood, adulthood. A piece of it just felt like it's in the past now. I am a huge Tom Brady fan. This is something that I won at an auction. It's hanging up in my room. As you can see, I got the Malcolm Butler picture right there of him picking that pass off in the Super Bowl. So yes, I was devastated when Tom left, but at the same time, thank you so much, Tom, for everything that you've done for us. As a Patriots fan, I will always appreciate you. I wish you nothing but the best at your time during Tampa Bay. I think that you walked into a great situation, and you deserve that. Whatever happened between Bill Belichick and Tom, that's neither here nor there. Everybody knew there was going to be a day where Tom was not going to be a Patriot anymore. Hate to see that he's playing for another team, but at the end of the day, he did what's best for him. Where does this leave the Patriots in 2020, right? So, I was actually a fan when we drafted Jared Stidham last year. I think that was a good pick. At Auburn, he had a really good 2017 season, and then 2018 he did take a step back, but what people I don't feel like are mentioning enough, that Jared Stidham didn't really make his name at Auburn. Jared Stidham was a highly rated recruit coming out of high school, went to Baylor, played very well at Baylor, actually sat out a year of college football where he didn't play at all. He went to a junior college but didn't play, coached at a high school, I believe it was, for a little bit, ended up at Auburn. So to me, I think Jared Stidham's career is much more than him just beating Alabama in 2017. What you're going to see at Baylor, especially, is way more accurate in what you're going to see in the NFL as opposed to what Auburn runs, which is much more of an RPO, motions every way, hand it off to maybe the slot back, and there's just so many different ways, and you're not going to see that as much in the NFL. From what we've seen, he did throw a pick six that was kind of scary. One of his first impressions as a Patriot. He did okay in the preseason. I don't know. There wasn't anything that in those games that said, okay, that's the guy that we need to move forward to. I think that if we're going to define the Patriots quarterback situation right now, for the first time in 20 years, really, it is a competition. So you bring in Brian Hoyer, which I was kind of a fan of because I have confidence that you could put Brian Hoyer in a situation and he will either get the job done, but I don't think he will necessarily throw the game away. Of course, Brian Hoyer was in a tough situation in Cleveland, and I'm sorry, I refuse to label Brian Hoyer after his time in Cleveland when they never truly believed in Brian Hoyer, to be clear with you. Everybody always wanted Manziel. You finally put him in, and look what happened. Anyways, you bring Brian Hoyer back. I could see him definitely getting a start or two this season. If right now we stick to the quarterbacks that we have on our roster, Jarrett Stidham will be the week 1 starter. I think the project, the draft pick, just everything is too high to not at least give him a couple starts in the league. This was a very similar situation as if you go back to when the Broncos started Trevor Siemian after they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. I think that was a very similar situation where they were kind of like, okay, well, who's the guy? We like Brock Osweiler, but we haven't seen enough, not consistent throwing, really overthrows the ball. I don't know if we like this situation. So you insert Trevor Siemian, and Trevor Siemian ended up not being the guy in Denver, of course, but here was the thing, was that you liked what you saw enough out of him. You spent a draft pick on him, so why not let him in, right? And I think that's the exact situation that the Patriots right now are going with, is that you have film on him that he can throw the ball. You have film on him that he is talented, but you just don't know what you got until you put him in the game situation. So Jarrett Stidham will be the starting quarterback if we don't add one. With that said, I think after 4 or 5 games, if things are just going shaky, I think you put Brian Hoyer in and see what he's got. Do I think the Patriots have a bright future in 2020? I really do. As long as Bill Belichick is the coach, as long as McDaniel's there, they are going to utilize their guys as best as possible to put themselves in the best situation to win. And we've seen that year in, year out, with or without Tom Brady. I do think in this time, I think a lot of analysts nowadays aren't really giving Bill his credit. Who did more, Bill or Tom? Who did more, Bill or Tom? Tom was on the field executing the plays, but you got to think this goes way beyond what Tom did too. I mean, at the end of the day, this is Bill Belichick we're talking about here. This is a coach that was a champion before Tom Brady was even in the league. This is a coach who has been in the league for over 30 years. Been a coach. This is a coach who has never even coached in college before. I will always have confidence in that. I think in the best case scenario, Patriots get 10, 11 wins. Best case scenario. I do not think this is going to be a cakewalk in the park, but I do not think that the Patriots are anything under a 9-win season for the Patriots. There's too many holes. There's too many holes that you got in New York, so that's 2 games we'll win right there. Buffalo and Miami, I love the additions that they built for their team. With that said, I do think that Buffalo still has to put it all together. You know, you got a team that's really young. Josh Allen, he can do some things. He did very good against us last year. Had he not gotten hurt, the Bills might have won that game. But I think that the Stephon Diggs ad was very good. I think it's going to be beneficial to their team. With all that said, you still got to figure everything out. I will not put them over my Patriots as of right now. I think the Dolphins will be competing this year for that top spot in the AFC East. They are going to draft 2. I'm going to put that into existence right now. And I do think that we saw enough of Ryan Fitzmagic last year to where we have to take him seriously. You know, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not some scrub. Ryan Fitzpatrick beat the Patriots at home, which arguably changed the whole momentum of our season had we gotten that bye week. If we go out and get a quarterback, I am not at all buying that Cam Newton is coming to New England. I don't think either of them want that. I do not think that Cam Newton wants to come into a situation where he would have to replace Tom Brady. I don't think Bill Belichick would want that either. I think Bill Belichick would love to work with a quarterback who is mobile, a quarterback who is athletic, because that really is where the game is going now, proven that Bill Belichick has issues with mobile quarterbacks. However, I just don't see that opportunity being there as of right now. I don't think Cam wants anything to do with New England. Andy Dalton, I used to really think that was where it was going to be, but my question is, why hasn't it come yet? Maybe it will happen on draft day. Maybe it will, I don't know. As things pick up and as time goes on, I do not see Andy Dalton being a Patriot anymore. I think that there was a lot of rumors there, but for some odd reason, I think that the Bengals want to keep Andy Dalton and have him teach Joe Burrow a thing or two. I think that is a likely scenario, and I think that's a scenario that people aren't talking about enough. Maybe if Joe Burrow is not working out and they don't want to risk his injury, put Andy Dalton back in. Let me make something clear. The Bengals are not going to the playoffs with or without Joe Burrow next year. I do want Andy Dalton to be a Patriot. I would like that replacement more than Stidham at this time or Brian Hoyer at this time. With that said, I just think that it would have already happened. I don't think that the Bengals' asking price for Andy Dalton is very high, so I don't know why the Patriots wouldn't pay it. Maybe they're waiting on for him to be released. I am not sure, but Jameis Winston, Mr. 30 for 30, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. Of course, that will always be a meme, really, for the rest of NFL history until somebody breaks it. Again, I actually like this. I would love Jameis to be a Patriot. I think that Jameis would come in and to get that coaching from Josh McDaniels to limit his errors. He is the most intriguing person out there that you could bring him in. And you hear reports all the time, and I've seen from guys on NSNBC that apparently NFL executives all say the same thing about him. Just, oh, if we could get our hands on Jameis, we could turn him into this, we could turn him into that. And I think Jameis' best opportunity to start New England. I truly do think that people have been whispering about the Chargers. I don't think that's the location for him. I think that's the location for Cam. You watch Jameis play. Jameis Winston trusts himself too much. He'll try to make throws that he thinks he has, but he clearly doesn't. He trusts himself too much, and he's too confident in himself to make the throws. It's not about him being scared to take the hit. It's about him thinking he has it when he doesn't. And as much as I think that Bill Belichick could help that, that's not really Bill Belichick's mindset. Bill Belichick is all about those safe completions, easy completions. He'll force it downfield, but they don't really have the players. They don't really have that deep threat guy really to just force the pass downfield and see if you can get separation on it. And if you look at Jameis's throws, a lot of them last year were short completion routes where he either underthrows it or overthrows it and it gets cut off, and the DBs really love to pounce on those things. But me personally, I would love to see Jameis in a Patriots uniform. Again, I think it would be an upgrade from Stidham. Just because we haven't seen enough of Stidham. Jacoby Brissett. I think if the Patriots were smart, they would go and get him back. It is clear that the Colts want to move on to him, even though this dude was balling until he got injured. They made that trade, and I just don't think they were really sold on Jacoby Brissett ever. I think when it was pretty clear when Andrew Luck retired abruptly last season, when Jacoby was named the starter, his teammates all came out and defended him and said, hey, that's our guy. We love Jacoby. He is our quarterback. But I don't really know how much the management believed in that. And clearly it wasn't very much if you go out and sign an aging Phillip Rivers, who Phillip Rivers will sling you the ball. He'll get you production, right? But at the end of the day, Phillip Rivers is a guy who's been in the AFC Championship one time. I don't know when the last time he was in the playoffs. I think that really drew the line in the sand that is not your option moving forward. I think if the Patriots were smart, they would lowball the Colts. 6th round pick this year, 5th round pick next year maybe. Now that is definitely your week 1 starter. And I think at this point, the Chargers would just want something for him, because if he's clearly not going to be your starter, even if Phillip Rivers gets hurt and Jacoby Brissett comes in, I do not see Jacoby Brissett wanting to stay in Indianapolis any longer than he already is. This can't make him happy that you go out and sign Phillip Rivers. Trade him back to New England. Put him back with Josh McDaniel. I loved what I saw out of Jacoby Brissett when he was a Patriot. It was awesome. Yeah, he got shut out against the Bills, which was kind of tough. But the Bills played really good that game. That first game we saw him as a Texan, it was fun, man. You had, it went from a completely different, you're slinging it with Garoppolo, to, hey, let's run the option. Let's run a fake toss and Jacoby's going to take it. He had like a 30-yard running touchdown that game. He was delivering balls. If I'm Bill Belichick, it's easier on so many levels to bring somebody back rather than to bring somebody new in and teach them everything. You bring Jacoby Brissett in. Clearly Josh McDaniels can use his skill set and form an offense around him like we saw in those 2 games he appeared as a Patriot. Of course, we want to make sure that he is healthy. He has gotten pretty banged up over the years since he has left our team. But I personally would love to see Jacoby back in a Patriots uniform. So there are a couple people. I really don't see a guy like Joe Flacco coming to the Patriots. I don't see. People have thrown out maybe Matthew Stafford. The Patriots could pull up a blockbuster for Matthew Stafford. I don't see that. I've seen in a couple mock drafts now that Mel Kiper had us drafting Jordan Love at 23. Now I'm just really confused. I have seen multiple mock drafts that have Jordan Love in the top 6. I've seen him in the top 20. Maybe if he does fall to us, we pick him up. I think we have so many other needs at that point to really address rather than to draft Jordan Love. I think if we were going to draft a quarterback, I personally would like to see us, and this is a bold statement, I would like to see us either draft Jake Fromm, or I would love to see us draft Jalen Hurts. I would love to see what Josh McDaniels could do with a player like Jalen Hurts, and me personally, I do not think he gets the respect that he really deserves as a quarterback. Here's a guy who's been a proven winner in college, who lights up the scoreboard, goes to Alabama, and people think, oh, well, he got benched for Tua. It's not like Tua's some pansy. Tua's a monster. Tua will be the second quarterback taken in this year's draft. I think with that 23rd pick, though, I think there's too much value we gotta address than to draft Jordan Love at 23. I don't personally agree with Mel Kiper in that analysis. I could see, though, if the Chargers don't take Herbert at 6, which I personally think will happen if Cam doesn't end up there, I do think that will intrigue us to move up and draft Justin Herbert, though. I think that's the type of quarterback that Bill would like to transition to. Here's a guy who is really a homebody person. There's a lot of questions about if he even wants to play in the NFL for some reason, but here's a guy, 6'6", can deliver it from the pocket. Underrated athleticism. He can wiggle with it now. He's not as stiff out there. He's an athletic. He's got some athleticism to him. I think if Justin Herbert slips past 6 to the Chargers, I could see Bill trying to trade up and draft Justin Herbert. You got to think who would really want to draft Justin Herbert past 6. Maybe Jacksonville, but I think they're going to give Gardner Minshew a run. I think at that point, if Justin Herbert were to slip past 6, the Patriots could trade up and draft him. I don't remember the last time they traded up for him. I traded up for a player. I think it was Dante Hightower back in 2012. Now, while we're on the topic of the draft, I do not see the Patriots trading into the top 10 at all. I just don't see it. However, I could see them trading up from 23 to maybe that 15 spot and going and getting one of these receivers we're talking about. I'm going to preface this by saying we did draft Nikhil Harry in the first round last year, and a lot of people are busting his chops saying, who is this guy? Who is this guy? He didn't really do anything. Arizona State, he didn't do anything. Yeah, okay, but he was also injured, guys. It's not like he had some, dinky little injury or something like that. He had an ankle injury, and I think those are pretty important in football. So, sorry he might not have had the season that everybody wanted to. But even with that injury, he came back. There was some flash with him. They tried to get him involved, and there was some flash with him. And let's be real here. The offense wasn't what it has been in years past, right? So, to write him off and say, oh, well, who is Nikhil Harry? I think that's a little bit premature. With all that said, I think that it is time for us to get a stud at receiver. Trade up and you can get Jared Jeudy maybe. You got all those studs at receivers. You got CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Jared Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. I could see Ruggs because a lot of people are kind of, you either think Ruggs is going to be a home run or you think he's going to bunt, right? Because you got guys like Darius Hayward-Bay who clocked out of the gym and couldn't make it in the NFL. So you're going to say a guy like Henry Ruggs can't do it either, which I think is complete and utter crap. Personally, I like Henry Ruggs. I think he's going to be a great player. I think that if we're going to draft anybody in the first round. I would like to see us go offense. We did lose Jamie Collins on defense. That's going to be a hole to fill, along with Kyle Van Noy. We're going to have to replace, right? With all that said, I think when you lose a piece like Tom Brady, you lose a big piece of your offense. Why not go get something flashy? One thing I have learned, though, as a Patriots fan, I don't know anything compared to Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is going to do whatever he wants. So let's be clear and concise about that. But I think that is an underrated move that not many people are talking about, that the Patriots could maybe move up and get one of these speedster wide receivers that we've been talking about. This is the most talented draft that we've seen from wide receivers, so why not go get one if you're Bill Belichick? Another scenario that I hope doesn't happen. People have talked about it. Hashtag tank for Trevor Lawrence. Man, I don't know how to feel about that, because anybody, unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs, anybody would trade their quarterback for Trevor Lawrence. I don't care if it's Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if it's Tom Brady. I don't care if it's Drew Brees. If whoever got that first pick in 2021, and other than the Kansas City Chiefs by some miracle, whoever it is, gone. Trevor Lawrence would be their guy. I don't care who it is. So I wouldn't be opposed to it. With all that said, Bill Belichick and tanking will never belong in the same sentence ever when it comes to a regular season. Bill Belichick is a champion. A six-time champion in New England. He's not going to tank for nobody. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Trevor Lawrence. I don't care if it's frickin' Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Lawrence Taylor. He ain't tanking for nobody. We as Patriots fans hold ourselves to a higher standard, like I said at the beginning of this show, that I completely believe in Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick will not be tanking for Trevor Lawrence. All you media people pushing that narrative right now, it is just wrong. Would I like to see Trevor Lawrence in a Patriots uniform? Of freaking course, but Bill Belichick is not going to sell the farm. And people also think, I've also heard maybe trade everything and just go and get him. That whoever has that first pick's not going to trade it next year. Put that on the books right now. Unless you are the Kansas City Chiefs. Point blank, period. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this is just something I have wanted to do just to vent, just to get my thoughts out there. Again, I didn't really have a script, and I really think that it was the best way for me to just produce content. Guys, please stay safe during this COVID-19 case. I really want to emphasize the importance of just staying inside, being with your family. Guys, start something new. Pick up a hobby. This is something that I've been wanting to do something like this for this channel for a while. This COVID-19 is allowing me to at least be able to just focus on this with the fun and no FOMO of just like, oh, I can't be doing this at this location, or I can't be at the gym and stuff. So guys, pick up a hobby during this time, whether it be starting a YouTube channel, whether it be picking up a book, maybe doing yoga in your basement. There's plenty of workout exercises on YouTube, learning a language. There's so many benefits to being in quarantine that really are being overlooked right now. Of course, we don't necessarily want to be staying like this for too long, but while we're in here for this time, again, try to stay positive, try to stay healthy, and again, most importantly, stay inside. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, if there's anything you would like me to cover, please leave in the comments section something. You can shoot me a DM on Twitter or Instagram. Again, please, because I know you love me if you've been watching this, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. This has been so much fun just being able to talk to you guys. And again, no script, and I think I did really good today. So again, here are my social medias, at Alex Agrella RB. Please give me a follow. If you are a parent out there or a high school football player right now and you want to help get some looks or you need help getting recruited, please make a profile with me on recruitingboard.net, where we are the home of smaller college football recruiting. Guys, we can help you get connected with some of these smaller colleges out there. We can help you get connected with these smaller colleges out there, particularly Division II, Division III, and NAIA colleges. They're the ones who are searching our website for players. We've had plenty of traction over the 3 years that we have been in existence, and we definitely need more talent. I know right now it's kind of a funky time during this COVID-19 when it comes to football recruiting, but hopefully we can get you guys on some of the schools' radars. So please make a profile with us here on recruitingboard.net. We would absolutely love to see you. You can always shoot me a DM if you need any help with recruiting at Alex Agrella RB. If you want to hire me as a personal coach, help with personal recruiting, I can talk to you all about the college football system and how we can help you enhance your recruitment. So guys, again, thank you so much for joining this. Last time, slap the thumbs up button and subscribe to this channel. I'm Alex Agrella with recruitingboard.net, and I am signing off.